Welcome to this evening edition of the Y2K show, hosted by Big Papa Wheel, Mr. Y2K Associates. And also in the house tonight, we have our sponsor, Michael Welch, will be playing his favorite hits tonight, as well as going over the origin of the Mosonic. How old is the Mosonic really? What changes has occurred to it? And how many different people are involved in the reconstruction of the Mosonic? Remember, as always, here in Turtle City, America, self-improvement, motivation,
Absolutely.
self-improvement, motivation,
Absolutely.
Oh, oh, oh.
watching the Y2K show, where they play my kind of videos.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. Some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just treat your body, your mind. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain.
Quiet on the set.
Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Wanna stop loving you.
Quiet on the set. Oh my God!
You're watching the Y2K show, where they play my kind of videos.
Soy Roberto, El Favorito Gringo, mi pelo es blanco, hecho en San Mateo. Dime cuando ven a México, soy una California oso, más grande de mis sueños. Es un nuevo año, nuevo tiempo, no ratos or latas, no preguntas, preguntas menso. Inteligente pero soy poco loco, fiestas.
Thank you for watching the Y2K show. You're watching the Y2K show, where they play my kind of videos.
Oh my God!
How y'all doing this evening? And welcome to the Y2K show. Jonah, good morning. I hope your headache is gone, baby, and your belly ain't aching you no more. Linda, it is glad to see you out there on your travels today, out there on vacation and everything, or whatever your adventure is labeled. Enjoy yourself. Mio Ryder, this is my Filipino counterpart. You need to meet my friend Jonah. That's my girlfriend up there, Jonah. She's in Hong Kong. And I keep telling her she should tune in, if it ain't nothing but for a minute, to your show, Mio. So she don't have no she's not a content creator. So drop your link in the chat, and Jonah, click on it so that you two girls can meet up and talk about old times in the Philippines. I'm being a matchmaker now, that's right. And as always, I got my Michael Welch supporter here and sponsor, contributing a great deal of information and songs to us. I'm going to play some of them a little later after we go through a little bit of today's show. And Mio Ryder sending love and support. So let me give you a little idea of what we're going through today, okay? We've all heard of the Masons, and we don't really understand much about them, except they're Freemasons, and they are combinations of Morisco Moors, Sephardic Jews, crypto Christians that escaped the Great Crusade in southern Spain, made it to Scotland and Ireland before they were able to change the look of their faith and become Protestants, but basically they were pretending to be Christians so they could get on the ships and escape persecution. They made it here to America, set up and colonized various cities. They're known as the 9 tribes, the lost tribes, the 9 lost tribes, and they're basically settled initially on the East Coast up to Canada. But they have very large contingencies all throughout the country, and as well as Louisiana and as far as South America. So before I start rambling on about something I might not be sure about, I think the next best thing is going to be to hook us up. And also, in the beginning, they're going to be talking about a couple other items that are on this same video. So pardon my silence. You're going to hear that silence bubble. That's me trying to think up in here. That is not it. This should be it. I'm going to try this one right here. And then I'm going to move the other one right behind it, because they're kind of confusing me as to my location. So let me run a little bit of this. Y'all have to pardon me for a second here. Okay, I got the right one. Okay, y'all. Like I said, initially they're going to be talking about some other ancient aspects of the Americas, mainly meaning America itself. So get out your pen and your notebook. Take good notes. Don't be confused about anything you see here, because like I always say, everything that's seen here is not said here. Okay? I've done a lot of videos that claim to be telling me the truth, but when I get there, it's just one person is speaking. Probably, I guess, off a teleprompter somewhere. But Kui Mayo, I give high praise to him. Everything we do with him, he is in the books of the knowledge of the origin of it. So let me just get that. Here we go. Fair use, y'all. Fair use. And like I'm saying, he's taking information from printed, factual information on what we're talking about. That's why I'm saying this, because it seems like this. How could this be true when we was told this other thing? Well, somebody has taken it upon themselves to whitewash the world, and I mean that as a crayon color. They changed what was the truth to something that felt so much like the truth. We all believe it today. So my objective in all of my shows, I would say teachings, but all of my gatherings, you guys, is to share information that is the truest information what any of us could find out there. And as news and reporting and teaching and educating people on what we've been not told about and bringing this information to the forefront, I am not the only one that's privy to this information. If you look at the bottom of the producing a video, its source, you will see there's hundreds of thousands of other people views and likes that have seen the same information. I just seem to be the only person in my area, in my sector, that is sharing it. So, you know, buy in. Let's go. Here we go.
Wow. Much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Thanks for tuning in once again. Today we're going to go over some more old newspaper articles, some amazing finds and reports that they never really told us about, things they're hiding, things they never taught us in school, things that would change history. Also, I have a lot of books that I actually been holding for years. I haven't even read them to you guys, and I want to start reading little by little. Each chapter, really good books, and it's right on time because it's things they found here in America, things that was never reported, things that was never talked about. Just like these newspaper articles, more specific. They go into it more specific. So we're gonna get into the first chapter, one of those books today, and also we got a little special here on the history of Masonry. We're going to show you where it really originated. Yeah, Masonry. It was here in America. You already know. All right, pura vida, let's get started. Long time. So I got a lot of books, actually, guys, we're going to get into. So I've had this in my Kindle library for a while. It actually complements the recent videos with the old newspaper clips from Analog and the Twitter page. A lot of stuff they found here, as it says here. The Lost Worlds of Ancient America, compelling evidence of ancient immigrants, lost technologies, and places of power. Edited by Frank Joseph, forward by John DeSalvo, PhD. All right, we're going to go to chapter 1 here. And it says here, California's Buried Altar and Monument to the Great Flood by Frank Joseph. It says here, the recent and dramatic find of a foreign, pre-Columbian artifact in Western America is also among the most convincing of its kind ever made. The stone block's discovery under conditions beyond all possibilities of fraud, plus the nature of its identity, represent a truly revealing discovery. Not very far away, another monolith is inscribed with one of the largest, most complex examples of rock art. Both objects are clues to the mysterious prehistory of the Golden State, all right? Very interesting information here. Something they found in California. Again, going well with what we've already gone over about California. Very ancient land. We all know that. So we're going to see what they found over there. Shortly after the turn of the 21st century, an old house was being torn down in a western neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. After its demolition, workers began digging up the backyard in preparation for a new construction. At 5 feet beneath the surface, their shovels struck something unexpectedly bulky and solid. Persistent excavation brought to light a sculpted monolith, 3.4 feet tall, with a base measurement of 1.7 by 1.6 feet. The reddish, igneous block is almost perfectly rectangular in shape, weighs 228 pounds, and shows the effect of having been buried in acidic soil for many centuries. All right, they found this artifact here, this monolith, and you hear what they're saying? It's been buried there for many centuries. Abstract lines and semicircles identically cover either side, while more than halfway up the broader front, the likeness of a human head partially emerges from the center in bas relief, surrounded by engraved ridges, suggesting a hairstyle terminating below the head in large twin curls. The oblate facial features are carefully molded, although details are sparse. Small eyes and mouth are depicted, with possible remnants of a nose and a brow. These carvings resemble nothing similar to indigenous Californian or even North American tribal imagery. They are utterly unlike anything found in Native American art, either prehistoric or contemporary. Indian material culture did not include monumental stone sculpture. All right, so this is what they're talking about here, guys. Okay, they found this buried, and it's a centuries old. After a cursory examination during a recent exhibition at the Public Broadcasting System's well-known Antiques Roadshow, all right, PBS television program, an appraiser archaeologist could offer no opinion, save that the large object, judging from its soil stains, was at least 500 years old, but probably much older. Curators from the Archaeology Department of the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles have not been able to add anything to the appraiser's limited assessment, although they did not question the unique artwork's pre-Columbian provenance. Its precise age, original purpose, significance of its illustrated surface, or identity of its creators escaped them. Owners of the monolith shared what little they know of their accidental find with ancient American, on conditions of personal anonymity and privacy concerning the undisclosed whereabouts of their discovery. It must forever remain an insoluble mystery, so long as mainstream scholars restrict their investigation within the borders of pre-Columbian North America. In the light of the outside world, however, the artifact stands revealed. Its full face, sculpted relief with stylized headdress and crude, though effective execution, finds its close likeness in the ancient old world deity. All right, this is the true old world. It's what they're finding here. Beginning with the mid 16th century BC, the Phoenicians began to assert their separate identity and emerged from the other Semitic peoples of Canaan, a kingdom roughly corresponding to the region encompassing modern-day Israel. I dodged a hijack. It's not over there. That ain't the promised land. We've already gone over the information. If you're new, make sure to catch the previous presentations. It's been 5 years here. It's been a long journey. We're still learning. All right? So that's the hijack right there about that Israel, Palestine, and all that stuff. All right, and then he's going to say the Lebanese are descendants of Phoenicians. Well, maybe, maybe not. Well, it's kind of generalizing, but who's the Phoenicians? All right, we're eventually going to get to that. So then they go on talking about, since they had the cedars of Lebanon, right, as the biblical ones, that's where they built the ships, and that's why they went all around the world. But we already know, right? We got the videos already. We know the gopher tree and all this stuff. They're using the cedars, these big cedars, where these trees are coming from already. We read the navigational videos, how big these ships were cut out of one single tree, okay? Fitting 150 people. Talking about cedars of Lebanon, right? Place of whiteness, right? So Dutch the hijack with all this Africa part and over there in Mediterranean, Middle East, they're fake locations. So continuing the second paragraph right here, it says, among the Phoenicians' most beloved deities was Ashtar, their version of the much earlier Sumerian Inanna. She was the divine patroness of both fertility and war, life and death. Twin aspects embodied her celestial light, the planet Venus, rising in the east as the morning star and setting in the west as the evening star. 11th century BC Phoenician cosmologist Saint Shuniaton portrayed her as the mighty one, wandering through the world, an appropriate conception for the far-ranging Phoenicians whose sailors prayed to her as Our Lady of the Sea. All right, do you hear that? So they're trying to correlate something here. So they're teaching you about this deity, this Phoenician deity, because that's what they found here in California. That's what they're going to tell you. You'll see. When they arrived in Egypt as traders and settlers, what Egypt? The real Egypt, right over here, the Nile. What Egypt? Egypt is a Greek word, Temple of Ptah or the Temple of Ptah. Menes, Memphis, on the Nile, Mississippi, on the Mississippi, the great river. Okay, so let's not get sidetracked when they say when they arrived in Egypt as traders and settlers. Ashtar was welcomed as a popular import by their host, assuming some features of an indigenous goddess. Hathor, particularly her iconic headdress, with its bouffant configuration ending in two close-fitting curls on either side of the head. Thereafter, Ashtar was usually portrayed wearing the stylized headdress wherever the Phoenicians traveled, as evidenced by one of their bronze figures of the goddess from Carranzo, Spain. The Egyptians worshipped her as Kadashu during the 18th and 19th dynasties, from 1550 until 1200 BC. What Egyptians are? The Tamari. When the two peoples had a falling out, a prayer to Ashtar Kadashu found in Egypt at a Phoenician burial was probably a standard text dedicated to the deity whenever she was venerated. Praise Lady of the stars of heaven, mistress of all gods, may she grant life, welfare, prosperity, and health. Mayest thou grant that I behold thy beauty daily. All right, that's what it said supposedly on the tablet. Although the countenance protruding from the Los Angeles monolith wears a Hathor headdress, it does not belong to that Egyptian goddess or Kadashu, because neither deity was ever so cruelly depicted in the Nile Valley. Phoenician divinities, on the contrary, were often coarsely portrayed, such as the photograph example included here from 8th century BC, Hadrumetum, a Phoenician colony in Tunisia, North Africa, or Ashtar's engraved image. Its resemblance to the California figure, wholly unlike any other representation of this god, is unmistakable, okay? You hear that? It's basically the same, he's saying. Moreover, the face-forward style was diagnostic of Phoenician sculpted art. All right, this is what they're finding in California. So this is a stone representation of Phoenician goddess Ashtar from Hadrumetum, North Africa, 800 BC, supposedly, right? And this is the one they found in Los Angeles, the monolith. Now you see the headdress that goes down right here. This is what they're talking about, and the eyes very. All right, you see, like the head. They say headdress, it looks like hair to me, but the same with the eyes, right? With the decline of Egyptian and Mycenaean Greek influence on the Aegean world, after the 13th century BC, the Phoenicians were free to exploit the rest of the Mediterranean Sea and beyond throughout the Atlantic realm, where colonies were established in western Morocco and Iberia. They are known to have brought back oranges from Canary Islands, together with a costly purple dye, the Purpura murex, found in a rare sea snail shell from Madeira. And they left a hoard of coins on the even more remote Azore island of Corbu. The Los Angeles monolith is physical proof they sailed further. All right, so I just want to go ahead and stop there just to get you guys a reference. I know they keep trying to tell us that Phoenicians are coming from a fake Holy Land. All right, so let's just understand that. And so, where's the true promised land? Where is Canaan, the true promised land, the terrestrial paradise? Let's not forget. The Phoenicians were coming out of here. That's why you find statues like this here. They've seen it in reverse. Yeah, they went over there to Iberia and Morocco, yes. And not just there, but the Ireland or the Emerald Islands, right? The British Islands All right, future video, again, we're going to go over this. We're going to break this down. So just starts the hijack with the false orientations they're trying to give us, right? All right, so they're saying they went all the way to Los Angeles. Well, they were. Of course, they were all the way over here. That's right next to Judah. Utah. Like other objects of its kind, the sculpted block confirms in size and rectangular cubic shape to a stone altar for the worship of Ashtar, the Lady of the Sea, who safely brought Phoenician visitors to the west coast of our continent more than 2,000 years ago. So they're seeing it in reverse. Again, and we are waking up with analog. Back in the brothers page right here to get some more incredible finds here, some more incredible newspaper reports, old ones that they never showed us, things they never talked about, things that could really rewrite history and prove that America is the true old world. So let's get right into it again. Here we go. We start with this one right here, prehistoric masonry from Arizona, 1896. It says here, prehistoric masonry, relics that have been unearthed, engraved with Masonic emblems, Masonic emblems. Do you hear this? That masonry is of ancient origin. There can be no doubt. But history does not state that masonry existed among the Aztecs or Toltecs. The prehistoric tribes that thousands of years in the dim past flourished in Arizona. It is true that scientists have been able to collect but little knowledge of these extinct tribes. For the only reliable evidence of the prehistoric existence of the races buried in the oblivion of ages are the relics that from time to time have been unearthed in the mounds strewn over the valley and territory. These ruins in themselves are indisputable and proven that at one time a tribe of a fair degree of intelligence inhabited the country, all right? But the reason of the total destruction of the tribes is purely guesswork. Although many plausible conjectures have been advanced, the length of time that the race inhabited the country, of course, is unknown, right? They don't know. So it's been guesswork all the time. They've been telling you, right? Bearing straight theories and all this other stuff. They don't really know. Those are all theories and can only be supposition at the most that the people always lived here. All right. The people always lived here. It can just as easily be supposed. All right. That the people were already here. You've been here. Or were a nomadic tribe that settled here, the latter being thought very probable. At any rate, there are evidences that masonry existed, and it is a matter for scientists to worry over. 17 years ago, Bud Cummins of Tempe and another gentleman made a partial excavation of one of the numerous mounds near that city and were greatly surprised when they unearthed a seashell on which was worked in perfect relief a square and a compass. The shell had evidently been worn as a charm around the neck, as a hole was through the shell. The relic was subsequently presented to Dr. Thibodeau, formerly of this city, who prizes it very highly. John Tate, superintendent of the Orange Orchard, is greatly interested in prehistoric relics and is always seeking to add to his collection. About a year ago, he was in the Indian village east of the city for the purpose of collecting relics from the Indians. He met a squaw, and after hard work made her understand what he was seeking. She entered her habitation and from the ground dug up an old olla, or a pot, filled with ornaments both prehistoric and the handiwork of their tribe. The ornaments were attached to a string, and looking them over, Mr. Tate's attention was riveted on a small charm of red sandstone, on which was plainly engraved the square and compass. He purchased the relic, and it is the most valued of his collection. A prominent Mason a short while ago offered him a fabulous price for the emblem, but he would not part with it. All right, so even a Mason came over to him and said, yo, I want to buy that. Mr. Tate also has in his possession a Masonic keystone, which he bought from a Maricopa Indian. All right, a Masonic keystone from the Maricopa Indians. The peculiarity of the latter relic is that no one has ever been able to tell from what it is made, though of undoubtful Masonic significance. J.C. Dyer of this city at one time had a valuable collection of prehistoric relics, which he disposed of. Among the collection was an accurate Masonic plumb, which is now in the possession of Mr. Tate. Masonry, beyond a doubt, existed in the earliest ages, and some writers maintain that it derived its origin from the Dionysic fraternity, an association which was formed in Asia Minor by the architects and builders engaged in the construction of the temples at a time when the Greeks migrated from Athens. The association is supposed to have been in existence entire when Solomon undertook the building of the temple, and the story runs that the fraternity sent a band of workmen from Tyre to assist in that work. Freemasonry, all right, those are Phoenicians, all right. Phoenicians did build the Temple of Solomon. He had them help him. The Phoenicians, so-called Phoenicians from Tyre, these people from Tyre, helped build the Solomon's temple. Freemasonry, according to this account, is said to have been originally organized by the leaders of the band. And in this way, it's explained the great prominence which is given to Solomon's temple in the rituals and symbols of the order. Writers, however, differ as to the origin of Masonry, but well-informed Masons content themselves with supposing that the order originated in the association which were formed in the Middle Ages by Masons and builders, all right? So again, much, much older than that, all right? And we know the origin of this. I'm going to show you guys right after this. All right, this is the next page. It starts right here. It says, but was originally founded by Ashmole and some of his friends as a piece of mystification. Its symbols and signs having been borrowed partly from the Knights Templars and partly from the Rosicrucians. The square and compass may be a comparative modern origin as an emblem of the order. Certain it is that they are tools used in the present age, but the findings of these prehistoric relics in the ancient Aztec ruins have a significance. It is not presumed, however, that the Aztecs were of African or Asiatic origin. They're not, right? They're not. They're from here. But to take the ruins of the vast waterways, etc., in the valley as a criterion, it would show the tribe to have been the inferiors intellectually of the Eastern races. If Masonry flourished in Solomon's time, then the Aztecs must have had some connection with the races of Solomon's country. Okay? All right, do you hear that? What's the true promised land? All right, we're talking about the Mexica, Moshe, Moses, Mexica, Mexico. That's the hijack with Aztec. That's not their name, Mexica. Have some connection with what? The races of Solomon's country? Really? Oh. Still, it is only hypothesis and food for the scientists to reflect over the discovery of Masonic emblems in the ruins of the Aztecs. All right, Phoenix Republican, 1896.
If you haven't noticed, the dollar has been losing more and more value by the day, and it's time we took control of our financial.
All right. So, since we're talking about Masonry, right, and whether or not it was in ancient America, I'm going to show you what the Masons say themselves, where it originated. They're going to tell you straight up. We're going to see how they say it originated, and the credit must be given to America, all right? I'm in the book Ancient Mystic Oriental Masonry, its teachings, rules, laws, and present usages which govern in the order at the present day. True Masonry and the Universal Brotherhood of Man are one, all right? By Dr. R. Swinburne Clymer, author of the Rosicrucians, their teachings, the philosophy of fire, all right? This is deep. This is deep stuff right here. So we go to page 25 of this book, right? And we go to this second paragraph right here. Let me zoom in. Now listen to what it says. The cradle of symbolism used in all masonry. All right. Remember, they found the square and the compass, the square and the circle, and all these Masonic relics, these artifacts, prehistoric in America, and California, and Arizona, and all these places, all over the place. All right. These symbols, right? Symbolism, the symbolism used in all masonry is placed by many of the best authorities in that country, which they believe was first inhabited. For example, the plateau of Tartary, and from there transmitted to this generation by the sages of India, Persia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. Now look what he's going to say right here. He says, we are not indebted to either ancient Egypt for either religion or masonry, but to America. All right. So who gets the credit? You owe the credit to who? To America. For what? Religion or masonry? America. Yeah, unfortunately, religion too, right? Or spiritualism. We are not indebted to either ancient Egypt for either religion or masonry, but to America. Listen to this. It is a fact that at Memphis, Egypt, the real one, Mississippi, and the pyramids, the mounds, the pyramids, under the guidance of the kings, the mystic rites of masonry were worked many thousands of years ago. But at that time, Egypt and the continent of America, again, but at that time, Egypt and the continent of America were one and the same. Were one and the same. Okay, it is the same. America, Egypt is the same. They're telling you right here who who is to be credited with masonry. America, America. At that time, Egypt and the continent of America were one and the same. These are Masons telling you. And America, rediscovered in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th, was recovered Egypt. All right, they recovered what? The real Egypt, or Tamari. They recovered. And the promised land. They recovered the promised land. So when they're saying Phoenicians coming out of over there, Israel is not a location. Israel was a people. Israel was a family, like saying the Johnsons, the Israelites. Yeah, that's Jacob's kids. It wasn't a landmass. You can't say the Phoenicians came out of Israel. That's not even right. That don't even make sense. Because this is the true promised land anyways. The Masons are telling you right here. In America, they recovered what? Egypt and the promised land, or the land of the constellation of the eagle. Isaiah, okay? Now they're telling you, it keeps going, that something happened in America. And secondly, with the consequent wrecking of the continent of America when the globe became involved in the consequences of disorder of the skies. Disorder of the skies. What happened? Did the Dracons come after you? America, known to the mystics as what? What? As what? Atlantis. I've been trying to tell you, this is Atlantis. It's not me saying it. Ask a Mason with high degrees. They'll tell you, America, known to the mystic as Atlantis, when this ruin befell, was the seat of the greatest empire. America, right? The seat of the greatest empire, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing all of Europe and Asia. All right, remember the Greeks? They were like, no, they're coming to get us. This was the greatest empire in America. The Masons know this. This is their book. Continuing, when following the course of the constellations, those immovably and perpetually fastened upon America reached, it will appear that while all that is sublime in the historic past centers upon Egypt, all that is sublime in the prehistoric past centers upon America, Atlantis.
Hello, everyone. This Friday, it's time to play a game.
Okay, Atlantis. And as the current which has hitherto concealed the prehistoric connection between the peoples of ancient Egypt and of America is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile, being descended from the original people of the eagle on this continent, they are descended from us over here. It's not the other way around. The twain are one, and that prehistoric America was the original Egypt. Again, that prehistoric America was the original Egypt, or Eagle Land, prior to the mighty dispensation, the days of Peleg, all right, when the lands were separated, when the earth was divided, and the great globe itself was nearly rent asunder. What did Agassiz says? Remember what Agassiz says, the most famous geologist. We got this already in previous past videos. Says Agassiz, first born among the continents, America has been falsely denominated the new world, has been falsely. It's not a new world, it's the old world. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. First land that came out of the primordial waters. You understand that? Hers was the first shore washed by the ocean that enveloped all the earth beside, and while Europe was represented only by islands rising here and there above the sea, America, or Atlantis, already stretched in an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. America was evidently people from the old continent, from the old world, all right? Just to be clear, to the Chaldeans, right? The Druids, we got already, right? Ireland, Ur of the Chaldees or Chaldees. The Druids are the magicians, are the Chaldeans. That is where Abraham came out of. And then he came back to the promised land over here. And we continue waking up with analog. Mummies in Tennessee, Georgia, 1892. They were found in a cave and are similar to those of Egypt. Again, they were found in a cave. We're talking about Tennessee, right? We're talking about mummies being found in Tennessee, similar to those of Egypt. That is Egypt, Little Egypt. That is Tamari. Chattanooga, December 2nd, two prominent citizens of London County, Tennessee, while hunting in the mountains, discovered a cave containing well-preserved mummies, similar in every respect to those of Egypt, and a large trunk or case bound with brass, sealed in several places. Upon being opened, it was found to contain several leather cases, also sealed. The largest was open, and a roll of parchment found covered with Hebrew characters, Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, Phoenician, that's what they call so-called Phoenician, Hebrew, Paleo. The relics were deposited in the vault of the First National Bank of London. All right, you see, they had it. And the Smithsonian Institution notified. Oh, no wonder we didn't find out about this, because they notified the Smithsonian Institute. And you know what they do, guys? They just hide everything. Reverend Dr. Tucker, pastor of the Presbyterian Church, translated one of the manuscripts and finds it to have been written by Menkata, high priest of the land of Chem. You guys hear that? Who wrote it? Menkata. He signed it. Where was Menkata living then? He was in Tennessee in ancient times. He wasn't over there. It was written by Menkata, the high priest of the land of Chem. All right? It was over here in Tennessee. Who is Menkata? All right? Menkata, mummy of Menkata, high priest of Egypt, found in Tennessee. Menkata. He was a pharaoh of the 4th dynasty during the Old Kingdom who was well known under his Hellenized names, Miskerinos, Herodotus, and Mekeres. By Manetho, according to Manetho, he was throne successor of King Bikeres, but according to archaeological evidence, he was almost certainly the successor of Khafre. Africanus from Sincellus reports as rulers of the 4th dynasty, Soros, Sufis the first, Sufis the second, Mekeres. All right, that's him right there. They're saying Menkaure became famous for his tomb, the Pyramid of Menkaure, at Giza, his statue triads. All right, so that's the hijack. So this is a statue of him, supposedly. Did they steal this from America, or did they just make a replica? Did they just make a replica? Did they bring this from over here? We on to you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Let's continue reading. It says, it contains reference to hidden treasures, which the writer says will be needed for a great war. The story is stranger than Rider Haggard's most visionary efforts. All right? They found mummies. That's probably Menkaure himself. They found mummies in Tennessee, just like the Egyptian ones, the same exact way. They're not telling you different. So why would you assume, why are you going to conjecture that all that happened over there only? We know Tamari, the beloved land, that's right here. The Nile is the Mississippi. Correlating with exactly what the Masons said, right? What did the Masons say? That this is the original Egypt. All right? This is just more proof right here with the newspaper article. It says here, the lost worlds of ancient America compelling evidence of ancient immigrants, lost technologies, and places of power. Edited by Frank Joseph, forward by John DeSalvo. Another California better known but hardly less revealing of foreign travelers to our continent in prehistory. Standing alone on the side of a boulder strewn mountain, most perfect works of ancient rock art faces a broad valley just west from the town of Hemet, some 90 miles southeast of the Los Angeles Ashtart monolith. A massive gray egg-shaped stone is emblazoned with the intricate design of a labyrinthine maze enclosed in a 3.5-foot square. Although rarely visited, the large image is surrounded by a metal fence topped with a barbed wire in the center of a 5.75-acre public preserve as the Maidstone County Park. Even so, few Americans are aware of its existence. All right, so real quick, this is what they're talking about